Okay, I want to start today with a little puzzle. A word. Just picture it in your head. Goikha. Goika.
First impression, it looks like a typo.
It looks exactly like a typo, right?
Yeah.
If you saw that on some official report, your first instinct would be to circle it in red. It looks like someone was trying to type KOICA, the Korea International Cooperation Agency, and just fell asleep.
Well, and KOICA, that's an acronym that just screams heavy lifting, government official development assistance. I mean, it sounds like budgets and serious meeting.
Totally. But here's the thing. Here's the hook. Goka is not a typo. It's actually a very deliberate and I think surprisingly clever bit of branding.
It really is. And that's what we're diving into today, this fascinating cultural shift. We've been going through KOICA's branding campaign reports from 2024 and 2025, plus interviews, video breakdowns.
And our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how they managed to flip the whole script. I mean, they took development cooperation, which always sounds like a duty and obligation.
A heavy thing.
And they rebranded it as a source of, well, personal joy.
The shift from I have to do this to I get to do this.
Exactly. From being a good citizen to feeling alive.
So we're going to unpack the two big phases of this. First, the 2024 Finding GOIKHA campaign, and then the follow-up, It's My Pleasure. And honestly, the psychology behind that second slogan is just fascinating.
Okay, so before we get to the pleasure part, we have to solve this whole GOIKHA mystery. If it's not a typo, what is it?
So for that, you have to go back to 2024. That's when they launched Finding GOIKHA. The problem they were trying to solve was, well, it was distance. For decades, international development felt like something the state did.
Right. It's the agency, a building somewhere. It's not me. It's over there.
Yeah.
Managed by other people.
Exactly. It felt so institutional. So they created GOIKHA as a persona. It sounds like the agency, sure, but it's really a stand-in for the citizen. The campaign literally defined GOIKHA as a symbol for all of us, the Korean people.
So these sort of anthropomorphize the agency. Or no, they democratize the name.
They democratized the identity. The logic was, if you care about these issues, if you're participating in any small way, then you are GOIKHA. It just broke down the walls.
It's a classic community building move.
Yeah.
But it could feel a little forced,
It could have, but they used it to lay the groundwork for what came in 2025. That's where the story gets really interesting. In 2024, it was about identity, who is GOIKHA.
And in 2025?
It shifted to motivation. The slogan became, GOIKHA, it's my pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Okay, on the surface, that sounds like something a hotel concierge says.
Yeah, wow.
But for foreign aid, that feels loaded.
It is, and the backstory, the data behind it is actually pretty touching. The reports show they were analyzing feedback from partner countries, and they were just getting flooded with these messages of gratitude. Thank you, Korea. Thank you, KOICA.
Okay, so the agency's getting all this gratitude, and the normal, standard diplomatic response is, you're welcome.
Right, but just think about the power dynamic in you're welcome.
Oh, it's totally top down. It's, I gave you something, you thanked me, I accept. It reinforces that hierarchy. The giver and the receiver.
Exactly. It can feel like I have plenty, you have little, so here. The branding team wanted to just shatter that whole dynamic. They wanted to reframe aiding not as charity, but as a reciprocal exchange.
So when you say it's my pleasure, you're not just being polite. You're saying this action, this thing I did, it benefited me too.
Correct. It frames it as my joy, my pride. It levels the playing field completely. It says, I didn't do this out of pity or guilt. I did it because it fulfills me.
It's like that warm glow giving idea from economics, the idea that the giver gets a real utility boost. And admitting that isn't selfish, it's actually just more honest.
And way more sustainable. Guilt runs out, joy replenishes, and this led to their core philosophy. Grow as you are, cooperate as we are.
Grow as you are. I actually paused on that line. It sounds a little like a self-help book.
It does a bit, but in this context, it links your own personal growth directly with global impact. It's saying you don't have to become some other person to help. You don't have to become Mother Teresa.
Just take who you are right now, your skills, your personality, and use that.
Precisely. And to prove it wasn't just, corporate jargon, they went out and found actual people who embodied this, the faces of GOIKHA.
Right. They needed avatars.
And they started with a bit of a celebrity, Jang Hyuk.
The model and broadcaster. Now, I'm always a little skeptical with celebrity ambassadors. It could feel so transactional.
Oh, for sure. Hold the baby, take the check.
Exactly. But from what we read, They integrated him pretty deeply into this.
They did. He wasn't just a face on a poster. He was the one-day PR chief last year, which is real work, and then came back as the lead for the video series. His title was GOIKHA, Who Seeks His True Self.
And that fits his public persona, but the interviews showed a deeper reason why he was a good fit.
Oh, yeah. It's his origin story. Jung Hyuk has been very open about growing up in modest circumstances. He's talked about receiving help himself as a kid, government aid, community support.
So he's actually been on the other side of that. Thank you. He knows what it feels like.
Exactly. He knows what it's like to be the beneficiary. So when he says, "It's my pleasure," it just carries more weight. There's a quote from him in the report that says, "It's deeply rewarding to know I can now give strength and happiness to others."
It just closes the loop.
Yeah.
He isn't paying back a debt. He's finding his own happiness by giving.
And he puts it into practice. The report mentions he actively volunteers with his fan community. He calls volunteering the most genuine way to express my heart. So for him, being GOIKHA isn't an act, it's just who he is.
That feels real. But if you only use celebrities, people tune out. It becomes, a hobby for rich people. To make the grow as you are idea work, they had to move to everyday people.
And that's where the casting got really interesting. They didn't pick these perfect, flawless volunteers. They picked people who struggled.
Which brings us to Lee Do, the geography instructor.
Right. Some people might know her from that Netflix show, Better Late Than Single. But her persona here is GOIKHA, who finds happiness anywhere.
And what I liked about the reporting on her is they didn't paint this rosy picture. She started as a volunteer in Vientiane, Laos back in 2018.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it was not great at first.
Not at all. The sources are really honest about it. She struggled. The language, the heat, the cultural gap. I mean, anyone who's done that kind of work knows that feeling of just being lost. You feel useless.
Well, why am I even here phase?
Yeah. But the campaign zeroes in on the turning point. And it wasn't some big project success. It wasn't cutting a ribbon on a new building. It was a string bracelet.
A local tied a bracelet on her wrist.
Yeah. A Laotian local tied a simple string bracelet on her wrist and just wished her happiness. It's a traditional thing, but for her, in that moment, it broke through the barrier.
It's that human connection. It just bypasses language entirely.
And it motivated her. She went from just trying to survive to actually wanting to learn the Lao language to deepen that bond. She stopped worrying so much about her performance and started focusing on the relationships.
And the payoff is that she brought that experience back home with her.
She did. Now, as a geography instructor, she uses those stories to, as she says, broaden her students' perspectives. So her GOIKHA identity is about finding that one spark of connection and then passing that bigger worldview onto the next generation.
The ripple effect. Okay, and speaking of generations, we have to talk about Sim Jaehwa. If Lee Do is about youthful resilience, this guy is. Well, he's about refusing to accept that age is a thing.
Sim Jaehwa, GOIKHA who enjoys challenges. And that is maybe the biggest understatement of the whole campaign.
He's a former journalist who decided to volunteer in Myanmar at age 71.
Which is already impressive. Most people are not looking to move to Southeast Asia at 71.
But then he went and volunteered in Uzbekistan at 81.
He was the oldest volunteer in his group by a mile. But the really wild part isn't just his age, it's what he was there to do.
You'd assume, what, mentorship? Teaching language? Something based on life experience?
You would. He went to teach IT.
No. At 81, teaching computers.
Yep. Computer science. To get ready for his first posting in Myanmar in his 70s, he realized his skills were out of date. So he didn't just review them. He went out and earned new certifications in Excel, PowerPoint, and Photoshop.
I know people in their 20s who are afraid of the Excel certification exam. The mental energy it takes to learn complex software from scratch at that age is, it's humbling.
It just shatters the stereotype. And the reports mentioned, of course, there were doubts. People were asking, can he keep up? Can he handle it?
Well, those are fair questions. Fieldwork is tough.
It is. But he showed that the spirit of challenge doesn't have an age limit. And he talks about how connecting with the younger generations, his students were his grandkids' age, was one of his greatest joys.
There it is again. Joy. He wasn't doing it to prove a point. He was doing it because he loved it.
He even wrote a book about it, Mingalaba, a new challenge for his 70-year-old youth.
70-year-old youth. That is the perfect tagline for this whole brand message. Grow as you are. He grew by learning Photoshop. He cooperated by teaching it.
It just sends this powerful message that this work isn't only for young people. It's about skill sharing. And that value can come from anyone at any age.
So you have the celebrity, the teacher, the retiree.
Mm.
But they featured a few others to show even more range, right?
Yeah, they wanted to cover the professional spectrum. So they had Jang Miji, a CEO of a social enterprise called Amiality.
Amiality, okay.
Her thing is global, local culinary education. So her persona is GOIKHA, who solves problems. It really appeals to that entrepreneurial, problem-solving mindset.
And then there was an activist.
Lee Seungjae. He works for Good Neighbors, and he started out as a KOICA supporter. His title is GOIKHA, who discovers dreams.
So whether you're in business, an NGO, education, retired, famous, there's a place for you. The campaign is saying, don't change your career. Bring your career to this.
That was the goal, to show that GOIKHA isn't a job, it's a mindset. But here's the clever part. They didn't just want you to watch these 5 people. They had a way to make the audience participate.
Ah, the user-generated content play.
Which is so risky for a government agency. You open the floodgates, you have no idea what you'll get. But they invited people to certify themselves as GOIKHAs.
How? Like, just send in a photo.
Pretty much. They asked people to send in selfies, little video clips, declaring themselves GOIKHAs and sharing their own It's My Pleasure story. The final campaign video wasn't just those 5 polished interviews. It was a montage, mixing them with this grainy, real footage from the public.
That's smart, because once you film yourself saying, I am GOIKHA,
Yeah.
you've bought in. You're not a spectator anymore.
And the numbers suggest it worked. The teaser video alone got over 200,000 views in about a week.
For a government agency video about development aid, that is basically viral.
It's engagement gold. They even did a quiz event beforehand, asking people to guess what It's My Pleasure meant. It just built up this curiosity.
So if we zoom out here, we've got the philosophy, the faces, the mechanics. What's the bigger picture? What does this say about how Korea sees itself now?
I think it signals a real maturity. For a long time, the story of Korean aid was about paying it back. You know, Korea received so much aid after the war, so the narrative was, we must give because we received. It was a debt narrative.
Which is a powerful story, but it's backward-looking. It's about the past.
Exactly. This campaign, It's My Pleasure, it suggests a move beyond that. It suggests a country that sees itself as a partner that gains just as much as it gives.
It's not a debt, it's a relationship.
Right. We're not doing this because we owe the world. We're doing this because we're part of the world. And it makes it a lifestyle choice for the giver. It's something that makes my life better.
It transforms the donor from a martyr into a beneficiary of joy.
And that's the only way you make this sustainable. Obligation is heavy. Joy is light. If you want people doing this for the next 50 years, it has to be based on pleasure.
And KOICA said that even though this particular video campaign is over, they're going to keep this narrative alive.
They have to. Consistency is everything. You can't build a brand like this for 2 years and then just drop it. They have to keep finding these stories.
I am really hoping for more stories like Sim Jaehwa's, the 70-year-old youth. There's something so inspiring about that. It makes you want to go sign up for a Photoshop class.
It really makes you rethink your own limits, doesn't it?
You know, there's one last little detail in the source material, kind of bonus scene at the very end of the final video.
Oh, yeah. Hyuk, he comes back.
He looks straight into the camera, breaks the 4th wall, and he just asks a question. Shall we do it together? Shall we?
It's the perfect call to action. And notice the phrasing. He doesn't say, you should do this. He doesn't beg. He says, shall we?
It's an invitation.
It invites you, the listener, to step into the story, to find that spot where what the world needs intersects with what brings you joy. It's so soft, but so direct.
And that feels like the perfect place to land. We think of these deep dives as being about complex data or systems. But sometimes the most complex system of all is just human motivation.
And how to unlock it.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, whether you're a teacher, a CEO, or just someone trying to figure out an Excel sheet, maybe there's a GOIKHA in you waiting to say, it's my pleasure.
I suspect there is.
Thanks for diving in with us. Keep growing as you are, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye, everyone.